Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go inside EMS. I am your host, Chris Cebollero, and with me always is the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. The ladies know he's the man with the power, Kelly Grayson. KG, we're in a little bit of a challenge today. You know, we're both in Grant, Oklahoma. We're in the same hotel. We can't be in the same room because
Because you're an idiot. That's why.
we've been arguing all day about point of care ultrasound, and this is what we have to talk about. We're throwing away the whole thing today just to talk about this ridiculous pre-hospital ultrasound. You got me so flustered. Is pre-hospital ultrasound a game-changing tool, or is it just another gadget to slow down patient care? I am going to say that it does do nothing. It doesn't do anything for me. Doesn't help me in any way in the field to change. And we've been arguing about this all day. But Kelly, I'll let you.
Well, I would agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong. So, I don't know that it's a game-changing tool, but it is a powerful tool and it doesn't slow down patient care.
It
Not
does.
if you do it right. It's like anything else. Does a 12 lead slow down patient care? Does glucometry and capnography and all those other tools we have, does that slow down patient care?
Stop right
Yeah, I
there.
suppose if your patient care consists of throwing the patient on the stretcher and driving to the hospital,
Stop.
it would slow it down.
Stop right there. With blood glucose, it'll let me know if I got to give sugar. If if it's high, if blood sugar's high, I can give fluid. If it's a 1280 kg is showing something, I could treat the MI. I could be prepared for cardiac arrest. Point of care ultrasound gives me no ability to change the way I'm treating the patient. But anyway,
Really?
let's talk about
Okay,
point of
yeah.
care ultrasound before we get into the argument, because we've been doing this all day. Just give them a little bit of overview because there may be people out there that haven't heard that ultrasound could come into the EMS field. So, Kelly Grayson, just give them an overview. What is POCUS? What does it mean? And why is it something that they're trying to bring into the
Uh,
EMS field?
POCUS stands for point of care ultrasound, and it has been a growing and becoming increasingly popular tool in EMS circles for the last 10 years or so. And I'm sold on it. I wish I could get an agency that I work for that would actually buy POCUS devices and let me do them because, Chris, my philosophy has never been, has always been that it never is a bad thing to know more about the patient. And with point of care ultrasound, you can know whether the patient has an internal bleed. You can know far better than a stethoscope will tell you if they have a pneumothorax or not. You can look for, you can do a fast exam right there at the side, and you know whether that iffy patient is he good going to the closest hospital or should I go to the trauma center? All of these things, knowing more about the patient, alter what we do, regardless of what you say.
But here's the thing, man. Again, you just won't listen to this, man. Here's the thing. All the things that you just said, so let me ask you this question. I can get a patient on a stretcher. I can put them in the ambulance. I could start my transport, and I can make the determination with point of care ultrasound if they have internal bleeding.
And where? And where they have internal bleeding.
So with all the movement in the ambulance, that's not going to throw off that ultrasound.
Well, no, but there's a
Wait,
reason
wait.
they call there's a reason fast is the acronym is fast. It's easy to do, it's quick.
Okay. So point of care ultrasound means it needs to be at the point of care,
Yeah.
meaning that when I go into the house, I now take out this device and put it on the abdomen to find out if there's internal bleeding. And as you said, where? But I'm delaying transport to find information that I can never use to treat the patient differently.
No, no.
Uh,
Well, first of all, not yesterday, Wednesday in the hospital, I used ultrasound to start an IV on someone.
In the
They had missed,
hospital,
huh?
in the hospital,
In the hospital.
because they don't know how to start IVs.
They know how to start IVs and they poke the lady like a pincushion. And if you're going to tell me, well, you ought to be able to start an IV, that just tells me how long you've been out of the field because you know how
Don't change the
humbling,
subject. Don't
you
change
know
it.
how humbling a
Don't
skill
change
IV
the
therapy is.
subject, man. I'm telling you, don't change the subject. So, Eric, but that's in a hospital. We're in somebody's house. It
So,
doesn't do anything differently for me to treat this patient. Tell me how it helps my skill. Tell me how it helps my ability to treat a patient differently while I'm waiting in the house to find out the information that I can't find in an ambulance on the way to the emergency room.
well, I still think that you think that the transport is the greater part of treatment. You know, I get why you're hesitant, man, but I look at this differently. Ultrasound has specific high yield uses in the hands of a skilled provider who knows what they're doing. You can rule out pneumothorax. You can identify fluid in Marston's pouch. You know, you can confirm cardiac activity during a code. Do you know that
So
back in the day, they
so can capnography. So can capnography.
no.
The first thing
And
that moves in cardiac arrest is the capnogram.
no, not so, not so. For
Whatever.
example,
Whatever.
how did they teach us to confirm asystole, Chris?
2 leads.
2 or 3 leads. You can change leads all you want to, but it doesn't make it. It doesn't mean that they are actually in asystole. It just means that those leads don't see anything. With an ultrasound, point of care ultrasound, you can look for wall movement. You can tell whether that is that is PEA or asystole.
So again, I'm
Pseudo
going to
PEA.
stop what I'm doing to put ultrasound on to see if they're going to have a heartbeat. So, but you're going to disagree that if you hook someone up to capnography and now everything isn't moving, and all of a sudden the capnograph moves, it's the first thing that's going to move in return to spontaneous circulation. And we already have it in the ambulance, and I don't need to do anything different.
You're
There's a
not
lot of
the,
things here, man. Let me give you. I mean,
First of all, the capnography is going to tell you about quality of compressions and ROSC. It'll probably be your first
thank you
indicator
very
of
much
ROSC.
for getting there because you'd be wrong if you didn't.
But the POCUS you can use before you get ROSC. And
When?
it's 2 different uses we're talking about, man.
When? But here's the thing. Here, take me through a scenario. Okay, take me through this a scenario.
Okay,
I
let's
go.
say
I go. Okay, I'll let you do it.
we have
'Cause
a.
you're making me crazy. I wish I had something to
Oh
drink.
no. What do you mean making? You were crazy long before you met me.
Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever.
You've got a trauma patient, multi-systems trauma. He's been ejected from a vehicle. He's having some difficulty breathing. He's unconscious. His sats are falling despite high flow oxygen. You're listening to his chest to determine if he may have a pneumothorax or tension pneumothorax. And all you hear is road noise. And you think you might hear breath sounds, but you're not quite sure. How can you be sure? With the ultrasound.
And I've done it with a stethoscope.
Yeah, you know, and I did MI localization with the modified chest leads, you know.
You were just
And I've
incorrigible.
whittled sticks as splints. Does that mean we need to use those? No.
Kelly, we have EKG, we have end tidal CO2, we've got our knowledge, we got our skills and our ability. Adding ultrasound, the only thing that it's going to do is it adds very little to what I can treat the patient, and I'm delaying my care and transport.
Dude, it's about targeted applications. It's not full diagnostics. It can influence when you need to terminate CPR. If you spot no wall movement, just because there's no wall movement, a patient can have wall movement or no wall movement and still be exhaling CO2 if they've been down just a very short while. You know, you can be more confident in these uncertain cases. Like I said, it's never a bad thing to know more about the patient.
But it doesn't help me treat anybody differently.
I wonder, Chris, if back in the day you asked, what's this new capnograph thing going to do? Man, I saw the tube go through the cords. That's all I need to know.
Well, if you don't see the tube go through the cords, it didn't go through the cords. So, but that's another thing, right? So
yeah, well, I know a lot of people
was a little bit
saw the
different
tube go through the
because
cords.
it did a lot of things, man. It did a lot of things. You know, then now when we start to think about CPAP, I mean, we're doing a bunch of things with the capnogram with end-tidal CO2. We're doing a lot of things with CPAP that could work together. But if I'm staying in the house and I'm using this, I'm going to get information, Kelly, right? So this thing's going to give me information. Just give me a couple of pieces of information that I'm going to get. What is it? What am I getting? That there's internal bleeding? What am I going to do differently in my skills to treat that internal bleeding that I had to wait to figure out in the house?
First of all, you didn't have to wait that long. Number two, and you're going to tell me you've never had a patient that was their blood pressure was crappy, their perfusion was bad, and you didn't know if it was bleeding or something else. You're going to tell me you didn't know. You've never had one of those ambiguous cases. You're going to tell me that you've never been in an ambulance wondering, do I need to divert to Podunk General Hospital because there's a doctor there, or can I go to definitive care a little farther up the road?
And that's going to help me how? I mean, in what way that had that
First
changed?
of all, you get
So if somebody's having
what
crappy,
is bleeding and how much.
and what am I doing differently? In the back of an ambulance, what am I doing differently for that patient if I have that information? Am I not going to give him fluid? I will give him fluid anyway. Am I not going to hang dopamine? Am I not going to hang dopamine if I need to hang dopamine?
Of fluid.
No, you're just crazy. I don't know that we could even have this conversation anymore. I don't know
We've
that
been
we can
doing it
continue this
for hours
conversation.
now.
It's been going on way too long. We're gonna have to find a divorce lawyer. Who the heck are we talking? We get maybe we can get Paige Wolfberg and White to and Worth to represent us in the divorce.
I think Steve Worth would take my part for sure.
Whatever, he would not, man.
Yeah.
He loves me and he loves you.
Look, if you're doing compressions, wouldn't a look at the heart give you clarity on whether to keep going or not?
I don't think I don't think so. I don't think so. Because I've got, according to what I'm supposed to do, I'm going to do CPR, I'm going to give medication, and then I've got a termination limit, right? After 15 minutes, if I don't see a change, I am going to terminate that resuscitation.
Well, let's hope we know something before 15 minutes goes by. What you've got PEA on the monitor. There's an organized rhythm on the monitor. The patient is pulseless, or so you think. Okay. And you're working that just as if there was no heartbeat at all, no nothing. What if the ultrasound showed organized wall movement? And this is just pseudo PEA. The patient just has so low a blood pressure that you can't palpate a pulse. Is that going to change how you do things?
What is the capnogram saying? What is capnography saying?
Well, the capnograph is, you're doing CPR and the capnograph is 20.
Okay. So is there no movement? There's nothing that's going to come that's going to.
If there's no movement, are you going to stop?
If there's no movement, am I going to stop? Yeah, I'm going to stop.
Okay.
But everything that I've got in front of me is going to do the same exact thing. I can't. I'm done with you. Get us out of here. I don't even want to talk to you anymore today.
Man, look, like I say, you got a strong element of you kids these days, and get off.
That makes no difference. I'm all for advancing EMS, but I don't need to ask, does it help? But I do need to ask you, does it help the patient? I don't think it does. But
I think it does.
I can't talk anymore. Let's just get to next week's show.
Look, it's not a magic wand. I understand that, but I cannot criticize any tool that we can use to tell us more about the patients we care for. Period. And then this I don't want to know it kind of thing is hard to understand on your part. But it's not useless. It is something, and today it is getting ever more affordable. Ultrasound gives you another layer of decision-making support, and I think EMS is involving enough to include it when the time and training's right. But there we go. You've heard what I think. You've heard the incessant babbling from Chris and la 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 la. I can't hear you. We don't want to hear.
Come on, let's go get some dinner. Come on, let's go get some dinner.
Yeah, we want to know, you folks that have used ultrasound in the field, did it change your treatment plan, or did it just confirm what you already knew? Drop us a comment, message us on social media. Let's keep this argument going. Let's prove how wrong Chris is. Until next time, y'all stay sharp, stay safe, keep asking the hard questions, and thanks for tuning in to Inside EMS. We're going to catch you guys next week.